Hey, welcome back. It's a cold night here in New York, the kind where the wind finds every gap in the window frame and the city feels strangely quiet. It makes you think about the stories that come out of the cold, the ones that seem to be written not in ink, but in frost on a window pane. Stories that appear one morning, unexplained, and haunt a community for generations. That's exactly what happened one frigid February morning in 1855 in the quiet countryside of South Devon, England. The people there woke up to a mystery that has never been solved. A mystery written in a trail of footprints. I'm Ibnul J. Farabi, and this is the Unexplained Archive. Picture this. It's the morning of February 8th, 1855. A heavy snowfall had blanketed the region overnight. As villagers stepped outside, they saw something impossible. A single line of footprints, as if made by a small hoof, ran in a near-perfect straight line for over 100 miles. They crossed rooftops, went over high walls, traversed frozen rivers, and even appeared to go straight through, or over, solid haystacks and drainpipes. The prints were found from the town of Totnes all the way to Exmouth, a staggering distance. And they weren't the cloven hoof of a deer or a goat. Witnesses described them as more like a donkey's shoe, but in a single file, as if the creature walked on two legs. The stride was a consistent 8 inches, and the prints themselves were about 4 inches long. The press immediately dubbed them the Devil's Footprints. Now, the sheer scale is the first baffling element. 100 miles in a single night. That alone would make it an enduring legend. But it's the topography that truly defies logic. These prints didn't follow roads or paths. They went in that eerily straight line, encountering obstacles that should have stopped any known animal. Reverend H.T. Ellicombe, in the village of Clysd St. George, saw them lead right up to a wall, appear on the other side, and continue on, as if the creature had simply passed through solid stone. In other places, they went from the ground, up the side of a house, across the roof, and down the other side, leaving marks in the snow on the slates. They were seen entering and leaving walled gardens whose gates were locked. This wasn't the meandering path of a foraging animal. This was a purposeful, relentless, and physically impossible journey. So what could have done this? The theories began almost immediately, and they range from the plausible to the profoundly strange. The most popular natural explanation points to hopping mice or birds. The idea is that a species, like a wood mouse, could have left a trail that melted slightly, fusing pairs of prints into a single, hoof-like shape. But zoologists have largely dismissed this. The stride was too regular, the distance too vast, and the prints too uniform for a small rodent. And could a hopping mouse really cover 100 miles in a night, scaling walls in the process? Then there's the weather balloon theory. Some have suggested an experimental balloon, trailing a shackle or rope that left marks in the snow. This could explain the straight line and the obstacle crossing. But in 1855, balloon technology was in its infancy, and there's no record of any such launch on that specific night. Plus, the prints were too precise, too evenly spaced, for something dragging in high wind. Of course, the human mind, especially in the Victorian era, leapt to the supernatural. The devil himself, taking a midnight stroll, a mysterious, unknown creature from folklore, even extraterrestrials in more modern retellings. The name, Devil's Footprints, stuck because it captured the deep, primal unease the trail provoked. It wasn't just a weird animal track. It felt like an intrusion, a violation of the natural order. Something had passed through their world, following rules they didn't understand. This is where the story gets personal for me. As an engineer, I'm trained to look for systems, for explanations rooted in cause and effect. But as a storyteller, I'm fascinated by what happens when those systems seem to break down. What the people of Devon experienced wasn't just a physical puzzle, it was a narrative shock. Their landscape, familiar and safe under a blanket of snow, was suddenly revealed to be a canvas for something utterly alien. That single file line spoke of a consciousness, a destination. It wasn't random, and that's far more unsettling than any random anomaly. I think about the witnesses, the farmers and vicars and housewives who first reported them. They weren't hysterical. Their accounts in the local newspapers are measured, detailed, and deeply confused. They were reliable people confronted with the unreliable. That's the bedrock of a great mystery. It's not about blurry photos or third-hand rumors. It's about multiple, sober observers all saying, "I saw this thing that makes no sense." That collective testimony is the hardest thing to dismiss. Could it have been a hoax? It's always a possibility. But the scale, again, works against this. To fake a 100-mile trail in one night, in the dead of winter, without being seen, and with such consistent, bizarre prints, the logistics become more incredible than the mystery itself. You'd need a conspiracy of dozens, all keeping a secret perfectly for over a century. Human mischief usually has a limit, a point where the joke becomes too much work. This feels like it went far beyond that limit. So where does that leave us? With a blank space in the historical record, a night where the rules bent, and we've never found out how. For me, the power of the devil's footprints isn't in proving the existence of the supernatural. It's in the reminder that our understanding of the world is always provisional. Even today, with satellites and sensors, nature can still produce a phenomenon that stops us in our tracks. It's a lesson in humility. We map the world, we build our cities, we think we've charted everything. And then a trail appears in the snow, from a century and a continent away, to whisper that we haven't. Maybe the answer is lost to history. A perfect, fleeting confluence of weather, animal behavior, and melting snow that created a once-in-a-millennium illusion. Or maybe it's something else. That's the space where mystery lives. Not in the answer, but in the enduring question. The next time you're out after a fresh snow, take a look at the untouched blanket. It's a clean slate. And then imagine seeing a line of perfect, single-file hoof prints leading from your doorstep, over your fence, and into the distance, as far as the eye can see. What story would you tell? What explanation would satisfy you? The people of Devon never found one. They simply had to live with the mystery and pass it down to us. Thanks for listening to this episode of the Unexplained Archive. If this story sent a chill down your spine, share it with someone. Sometimes the best conversations start with a shared mystery. This is Ibnul J. Farabi for Light Not Studios. You can find more deep dives into history's greatest puzzles at our website, lightnotstudios.com. Until next time, keep wondering.